Just talk us through this idea in her of falling in love with your software.
Well, have you seen the movie, Emily?
I have, but I'm not allowed to tell people the end.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious what your reaction to the movie, or what you felt when you were watching it, because the lead-in was all about falling in love with software, which actually the movie really isn't about. It's more of a love story and a relationship story. But I was just wondering what you felt when you were watching it.
Well, I was curious as to whether the man has found his ideal woman who just works for him as his PA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is that what? As the movie goes on, she certainly starts out as his assistant, but I think as she becomes a person is when the relationship actually becomes real, when she has her own wants and needs and insecurities and her own desires that are separate from what he wants, and that's where obviously the conflict in any relationship is how to have your own needs and be able to fulfill your partner's needs as much as you can. But is that? So I don't know, did you watch it more from that point of view, Emily, or did you feel it emotionally at all?
Was the computing, the software side important for you? Because this is an idea that's been sort of rumbling for 10 years or so with you, and I wondered whether, I don't know, you worried that technology would overtake you.
No, the movie is really not about technology or software, and that's why I'm trying to understand how you felt it when you watched the movie, because the movie, I mean, most people find it an emotional movie, but the way you're describing it sounds actually more of a, because to me it's not a movie about technology and society. It's not a commentary on that. That's the setting. That's the setting that we live in right now, which is, at this moment in time, there's a particular set of circumstances that prevents us, or that we can use to avoid intimacy. But really, the movie's about, finding intimacy with somebody else outside of yourself. And both for him, for Joaquin's character, and for Scarlett's character, who's just a voice, it's them trying to connect. And I think the challenge of trying to connect when and longing to connect when and the need for intimacy, yet the things inside of ourselves that prevent us from intimacy. But what about you, Emily? Did you you were not moved by this movie?
Our audience want to hear from you, not me. But would you see it as
I want to hear from you, Emily.
Later. Would you hear it as would you call it a futurist movie?
Emily, don't avoid this question.
Do you think of it as being a movie that's...
Were you moved by it at all?
I was moved by it, yeah. Would you see it as set in the future?
It's set in the slight future, but the future is more of a heightened version of our world, just where everything is, sort of comfortable or convenient and nice, but there's still this longing or loneliness and need for connection. And tell me what moved you, Emily.
Well, one thing I thought was kind of curious was that the technology is not very obvious. It's not in your face. And I wondered if that was deliberate. It seems to recede into the background so that the characters come out more. Was that sort of deliberate?
Yeah, that is deliberate. That's exactly what I was saying, that the movie, to me, that is the setting for this love story.
And yet you filmed it in the Pudong, right, in a very sort of scientifically, advanced part of the world in China.
Yeah, we filmed a movie set in Los Angeles, but we used Los Angeles collaged together with areas of Shanghai to create a future Los Angeles. And but I don't know. It's not necessarily scientific. It's just it's an area. It's a city that has a lot of new construction. Therefore, it worked as a newly developed Los Angeles.
Well, it's great to hear from you, Spike. Probably more from you than from me.